Hello and welcome to the latest Media Briefs episode from Media Voices. Short, sharp, sponsored episodes, 15 minutes or so, with senior executives from a vendor that is working with publishers to make their businesses better. This episode I'm speaking with Jeroen Goemans, MD for EMEA at content management solutions provider WoodWing. We spoke about the lessons WoodWing has learned from 25 years of working with content-heavy brands and how although WoodWing's publishing clients have already automated huge chunks of their production process, they are now seeing additional ROI from AI integrations that automate structured layout tasks, tackle overset copy, and support editors and designers with AI assistance. I began my conversation with Jeroen by asking him to tell me a little bit more about what WoodWing does.
WoodWing has been around for more than 20 years, and during that time we've been helping publishers to create and publish their content, starting in the beginning with print automation. Later on it was multi-channel publishing and the iPad and all other things. Whether it's for magazines, newspapers or educational book publishers, this is where we work for. And at the heart of what we do, there are two products. It's WoodWing Studio, which is our editorial workflow solution. And on the other hand, it's WoodWing Assets. That's our digital asset management system. And together, they basically form the backbone of content production. And we do this for hundreds of publishers around the world. Our roots are very much in making production smoother, faster, more collaborative. That's what WoodWing is doing already for these 25 years.
There's a lot of change in that time.
A lot of change that time, yes.
Especially with what you do. You know, publishers at some level, they're still always trying to reach an audience, but you guys are dealing with all these new platforms, all these new technologies, all these new devices.
Exactly. I mean, when you look like 20 years ago, it was all about having systems, file folder based, email workflows, all these kind of things. Then we helped them, I think it was in 2005, 2006, maybe a little bit later, with really editorial workflows, but it was only for print efficiency. And later on, there was this multi-channel publishing and with the iPad and a lot of new channels came in and multi-channel publishing became more and more important. And with all the apps in 2010, 2012, and in that period, because that was almost the golden bullet or so. I don't know how to say it, but it was a really interesting time. And especially, and now, what we see is with AI and all the things which are happening right now. Yeah. So in 20 years time, a lot of things has been changed. Yeah,
definitely. So WoodWing is actually 25 years old, right?
Yeah.
And you've gone from that starting point now to having, I guess, 1,500 clients, and then you're working in about 60 countries.
Yeah.
That's quite a growth curve.
It is, yeah. WoodWing has been around for more than 25 years now. And during that time, we've been helping publishers create and publish their content, whether that's magazines, newspapers, or more content-heavy brands.
I think the first time I heard about WoodWing was actually when you did the iPad app with Time magazine.
January 2010, when Steve Jobs, he announced the iPad, and our tech guys, very innovative tech guys, were already working on software to publish your content on iPad. And there were a couple of directions, and they were developing those. On the time the iPad was announced, in that night, they were, they knew the technology behind it, and they created the software. And it was a couple of weeks later that the founders of WoodWing visited Steve Jobs at that time. And that was already, of course, a huge experience. And based on that and time and some others really were interested to publish their content on iPad. It was a terrific time. Very interesting, especially because all those years before, we were only talking about efficiency, cost savings, etc. And now we could talk about, how we can publish our content to other channels, and that it was a totally different story. So that was really interesting. Yeah.
Now we're not talking about the iPad, we're talking about AI, and I'm guessing it's every bit as interesting, every bit as innovative as it was back then.
Yeah. Some things are similar, that's for sure. Right now, we are not talking only to people from the business and production managers, but also people who are more responsible for innovative things. And that is really interesting because we are on the same side of the table, thinking about how we can help them, how we can support them, evolving the business in this area. And that is really interesting. I mean, what I said, we do this for newspapers or magazine, but also for educational and book publishers, for example, also more specialist and niche players and regional publishers. So it is really interesting because there are a lot of questions. I mean, not only about the technical part, there are a lot of questions, and it is nice, to talk about it because nobody knows it. So we have to talk, we have to experience and to learn, and that is interesting. With our vision, our clients are looking to the future, how AI can help them, and then to see how we can create those solutions which really can help them in the next couple of years.
We just had a conference talking about AI in publishing. And I think one of the things that you just said that kind of resonated was there are almost as more questions than answers at the moment. Do you think publishers are sort of struggling to get their head around what to do with AI?
Oh, definitely. And it's not because they don't have ideas. I mean, it's more the problem knowing where to start. So, I mean, the AI landscape is loud and constantly changing. A lot of the tools look cool, but they do not connect with the actual newsroom workflows. So there are all kind of tooling, and what I see when I'm at customers, they have created all kind of Google Chrome plugins, etc. What is nice to understand how AI can help you and to support the people also with their daily job. And of course, there are also some concerns around the governance, the quality, copyright, all those kind of things. It is interesting. So what we see, so the hesitation to work with AI is less about the tech itself. It's more about the risk and the day-to-day impact. What we see is that publishers have a lot of initiatives. A couple of weeks ago, I read a survey of One IFRA, and they shows that only 9% of publishers can point to direct revenue. 70% report efficiency improvements, and 64% better content productions. These are all numbers about the impact behind the scenes.
One of the things that I've heard people at WoodWing's say is that AI is powerful, but it's not magic. And I guess the idea for you is to focus back on everyday tasks, is to focus on those efficiency things that you've talked about. Can you talk about some of those things that WoodWing is working on, either in terms of automation or AI assistance, or any way that you can improve efficiency?
First of all, is what we try to do is to keep it simple. Low risk use cases that bring immediate value. So, I mean, it's a no-go about creating content by AI. It's really how to help. What we did in our solutions is we embed AI directly into the tools teams already use. So they don't need to switch to other platforms or reinvent their process. The biggest things we are already working for a couple of years, but some of the things is of course within the DAM system, the digital asset management. Well, that's already almost basic stuff, to be honest. Like auto tagging, image recognition, vector search, image optimization. However, on the workflow side, we mainly have focused on more the repetitive, time-pressured parts of production. For example, the Copilot AI assistant for editors and designers, which, can make life a little bit more easier, like automatically create summaries. One of the interesting things, for example, is headlines. I mean, it's quite simple, but I was told that writing an article and creating headlines are two totally different matters. So it is really nice to have an AI friend who can support you with this. So this kind of things is interesting, of course. And of course, translation and tone of voice adjustments, which can lead also to new business opportunities. Sometimes you can package your content in a different way for maybe a different target audience or maybe a different country. And of course, also creating channel-specific variants, what now takes a lot of time. All these things are just really help the editor to improve the quality and to make things more efficient. So that's one thing. Another thing that's more on the print side, that is tackling the overset copy. You have with AI copy fit. This is also takes a lot of time, really time consuming.
I did a little bit of reading about this, and I love the idea because as a journalist, as an editor, and someone comes back and says, "Oh no, this is too long, you have to cut it," and you're just like, "Oh no."
Exactly. Yeah. And that is interesting because also on this topic, we did some research because obviously you can also ask AI to make it copy fit. However, what we discovered is that, well, AI and counting the words, characters, etc. That's not a really good match. I mean, however, it sounds really smart, but counting is still a difficult thing. But also, I mean, when AI is modifying the whole article, you still need to review it again. So that's not very efficient. We found a nice solution to do this AI copy fitting in a much smarter way so that you can still tighten or expand text while keeping the tone, keeps the meaning. I think that's also what you meant. Sometimes that you, well, almost take the heart out of the article. Yeah, so I have to say this is a really nice and a really more efficient. So that's also an interesting one. One of the biggest projects we are doing right now, this is AI layout automation. As an editorial department, you can just focus on creating your articles. And with our algorithm, the newspaper or magazine can generate near finished pages in seconds. And that is with a lot of business logic. What are the main articles, etc. We worked for it for almost a year, but I think the technology right now is there. And the first customers are already working with it, and they are really, really happy. There's a national newspaper which are now producing their pages, and the results are really, really impressive. Editorial teams have much more time to focus on the quality of the content. So it's not always about cost cutting. It's also about having more time creating infographics and other stuff, because that's still the most important thing, that you can differentiate yourself from others to create good content. I think this part is really a game changer for the print part because I think the efficiency gains will be significant.
Do you find when you're talking to people that they worry that their staff is going to be resistant to taking on this kind of technology?
Maybe a year or maybe 2 years ago, they were thinking, okay, maybe it will replace my job. But I have to see they are quite positive right now, especially when you're doing some small proof of concepts and see how it can help them in their day-to-day work. Once they see how it works, most teams are more or less relieved and see it can support them in the content creation process. AI doesn't replace the editorial judgment, and editors still proof text, the designers still own the layout, for example. The whole process is there, but it can help you to do more and the quality will be higher. So I think that's good.
If someone was approaching you and saying, okay, how do I start here? How do I get these efficiencies? How do I get AI into my business to make it better? What would your advice be?
Most of the time, there are a lot of ideas, but sometimes it's also quite difficult to match it, what is possible or not in a technical way. Most of the time, what we do is 2 or 3 day workshops with the people to see how is your existing process going and see where are the bottlenecks in your existing workflow and how AI can help you with it. What we see right now, so that we can make a bigger plan for the next 2 to 3 years, what's already quite difficult because the changes, all the new developments, they are huge. But still, you have to develop kind of a vision. And then, just start with smaller solutions, let the people help, that they see that it will really support them in their day-to-day job. And creating a plan together, that's my advice. Just start and see what now are the biggest bottlenecks and try to solve them.
How can people listening find out more about what you guys are doing with AI and actually what you've done for 20 years?
Exactly, yes. We're not only offering software. On one hand, it's digital asset management. On the other side, workflow and publishing your content. But we also having people already working in this area for 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. We have lots of experience also from other publishers. And that is really nice to see. So we also have some initiatives where we bring publishers together to talk about, okay, how can I help you? The do's and don'ts and this kind of things. We can help you in this journey and to tell about what our experiences are. Of course, you can also always go to the easiest place. That's our website, WoodWing.com, and especially the pages about Studio. That's our workflow product, and assets. That's the digital asset management product, and also the AI features. Yeah, and of course, you can also book a demo where we can walk through the real examples and show how AI layout automation or AI copy fitting will work with your actual template. That's good to see that you recognize, okay, yeah, this is the content. This is us. And this is how technology can help us for the next period.
So real world, everyday problem solving. That's what you're all about.
Yeah, that's a nice conclusion. Yeah, that's what we do on a daily basis. Yeah.
Thanks so much to Jeroen for speaking with me and to WoodWing for sponsoring this Media Briefs episode. It was so interesting to hear how WoodWing is using AI to solve everyday challenges, integrating AI directly into established products to remove repetitive manual steps, to speed up content delivery, and to enable teams to concentrate on tasks that require human judgment and creativity. Go to the landing page for this episode on voices.media, follow the link to WoodWing's website to find out more about how AI is integrated into WoodWing's content and asset management platforms, automating tasks, enhancing workflows, and improving operational efficiency. Or go straight to woodwing.com and book a demo.